If I'm sitting with someone, we can not have a thing to talk about. But if you've got a fiddle and I've got a banjo, we can spend 3 hours together and just become best friends, you know.
John Haywood is a teacher, plain and simple. He teaches traditional Appalachian music to adults and children, and he jams with friends. There aren't many people like him because most folks don't play this music anymore, especially not like two guys did nearly 100 years ago.
In 1916, I think it was, they maintained a phone line through here, and they would take their phone off the hook and they'd play over the telephone, and everybody who was on that line could take their phones off the hook and listen. And learning the old music and stuff, that comes with a lot of inspiration. It makes me want to learn about the old days. You know, in the 40s, prior to the 40s, everybody around here picked a banjo. And this old-time music, it's kind of dying away. It's dying out. It's trying real hard to, but we're not letting it, you know.
Haywood wouldn't have minded being a rock and roll star. When he was 11, he asked his dad for an electric guitar. Not now, his daddy told him. So Haywood settled for banging out a few tunes on his cousin's acoustic.
Growing up, I figured one of my only options was be coal mining. I come from a coal mining family. My grandfather worked in the deep mines since he was in the 6th grade. Somebody who was interested in artwork was encouraged to leave, to go sort of find a better way for yourself. When I left the mountains, I realized that the mountains was my identity.
So, after a few years of city life, Haywood packed up and drove home. He moved to a piece of property next to George Gibson, the man who taught Haywood how to pick and bow. Haywood and a handful of his friends pass on traditional music by teaching children after school and grown-ups on his porch.
Music like this is something that's real easy for your kids to kind of identify with. It's simpler music. It's not overwhelming to them or anything. They sort of get involved in it, and it's just something that sort of brings people together, I guess.
Haywood makes his living by painting, picking, and passing on a mountain music tradition that means everything to him. He spins his best yarns at music festivals and at open mic nights with friends. He doesn't even mind if the bar's empty.
We have a sort of a split culture, I would say, of folks who want to sort of get away and abandon what they consider an old backwards hillbilly lifestyle. But to me, that backwards hillbilly life that they're talking about is, to me, it's something to be embraced. I think I'd much rather settle for being a little bit poorer, but yet being a little bit more happier.
Music envelops Haywood's life a little like the holler that swallows the creeks trickling out of the mountains surrounding his home. Give him a banjo or fiddle, he says, and he'll pour his emotions out through a music that is fading into the Appalachian hills faster than he'd like. As long as he has a banjo or fiddle, he says, he'll even play when no one is listening but those same creeks and those same mountains.